What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing an Invisalign review. I've had Invisalign for the last 6 months of my life, so I think I have a good idea on what to expect. Now, you may have had Invisalign for a while now and are just looking for some more knowledge on it, or you might be just starting Invisalign. I'm going to answer pretty much all the questions you could possibly have, and I hope this helps with your experience. Before we get started with this video, hit that subscribe button below, and let's get into the Invisalign review. I've had Invisalign for a little over 6 months now. I'm getting ready to get my retainer that I'll wear at night and only at night. I no longer have to wear Invisalign all day, every day. The original reason I got Invisalign, I had a huge gap on my bottom teeth right here. And then also my top teeth, I had an underbite, so I kind of did this. And as you can see, that's fixed now. Right now I'm gonna get into what you probably want to know. Some of my tips and tricks for Invisalign, and basically what you can do to make your experience as best as possible. First question you may be wondering is, how do you get these things out? When I first got them, I had the worst time trying to get them out. I personally just couldn't do it to save my life. I think every meal I ate for maybe that first week, I was spending up to 10 minutes just trying to get the things out of my mouth. And it hurt really bad doing this. In fact, my teeth were starting to get loose for the first week just because I couldn't take them out right. If I were to guess, you're probably gonna have a similar problem when you get them. And there's a special key to taking them out that I didn't really figure out for a month or so. I had to ask a friend who has had Invisalign before about the best technique to get them out. And I'll show you that here right in a second after I put these in. So I have my Invisalign in right now. My lisp is back. That's another thing you should be aware of. You're probably gonna have a lisp for at least the first 3 days. Don't worry, you're gonna get used to it and you're gonna kind of learn how to say words without that lisp. But the best way to get these things out, instead of trying to get them out like this, going from the sides like this, don't do that. Your nails are gonna start basically receding from the top and it's just not good. It hurts, makes your teeth loose, ruins your nails. There's nothing good that comes of that. The best way you're gonna want to take these out, put your finger all the way to the back of your mouth on the inside, so kind of like this. And you're gonna feel the edge of the Invisalign on your clear back molars from the inside. And find that edge of that Invisalign and pull down. So kind of like this. And it's relatively the same thing on the bottom. Put your finger to the back, find the edge of that Invisalign on the inside of your mouth, on the inside of your teeth. Pull up on both sides and then take it out. Now, you're gonna struggle with this probably quite a bit in the beginning, and just understand that it's gonna take practice. I know it's kind of weird me saying that it's gonna take practice to take out your retainer, but it really does. Don't get too frustrated with it, and if you start with this technique, you're definitely gonna have a better experience than I did. And to store them, if you bring the case, definitely store them in the case. They're gonna give you an Invisalign case that looks somewhat like this. Sometimes the Invisalign doesn't even fit in it. You kind of have to maneuver it so that it closes. Sometimes it won't. Many times, probably more than I like to admit, I would keep them in a napkin. Now, the restaurants and the places with high quality napkins, usually that worked well. But if you go to a place such as a fast food restaurant, such as McDonald's, many times you're not gonna be able to have the best napkins. And when you put your Invisalign in that napkin, it's gonna get stuck to your Invisalign. And when you try to put them back in, they're gonna have pieces of paper towel all over them. Watch out for that. If you can, bring your case, of course, but many times if you're like me, you're gonna forget it or just not bother in taking it. Never leave the Invisalign just on the table. You're gonna throw it away 90% of the time. In fact, my mom threw mine away at one point just because I left it in a napkin on the table. If anything, always wrap it in a paper towel or a napkin and put it in your pocket. Never leave it on the table. My second tip for you guys, or this might not be a tip, it's more of a warning. It's gonna hurt pretty bad for the first 2 or 3 days after you change a tray. Now a tray, by tray I mean, they call these trays every single set you put in. Now each tray, every time you change a tray, it's gonna hurt for those first 2 or 3 days. My recommendation with this, I never even took Advil to do this. I just kind of accepted the pain. But I guess you could do that. I don't know how well it works. It's not too bad. Just make sure you eat foods that aren't gonna be really tough on your teeth. Like, don't eat apples. Apples are gonna really suck when your teeth hurt really bad and you're trying to eat things. So things like soup, milkshakes, anything that's soft is gonna work well. But anything that's hard is just gonna be a nightmare for you. So definitely avoid those. Now, every tray you get is gonna be on a different pain level. Some trays weren't as bad as others, but it's gonna vary in pain based off the tray. I found the best time to change trays was usually at night, and I usually would make sure I eat before then. That way I wouldn't have to take out my trays till maybe the next morning, and that of course let my teeth get more used to the trays before I had to take them out. When it hurts, every time you have to take them out and then put them back in, it's just gonna make it hurt again. Try to take out your trays as little as possible after changing them in the first 2 or 3 days. The third thing I'd like to mention, your trays are gonna get disgusting. At least mine did. A way you can combat this is by taking your toothbrush and cleaning them out. Whatever you eat or drink is gonna permanently stain your trays. I noticed this doesn't really affect how they look on your teeth, but when you take them out, you're gonna notice the color. I also found that sometimes when I put them in my mouth, I'd get a tendency to just like bite on them as hard as I could. I don't know why this is. It's a weird thing, but you might find yourself doing that. By doing that, I would sometimes get little scrapes or nicks inside the Invisalign tray, and I could feel it with my tongue. So definitely, if you can, try to avoid clenching your teeth on them and make you more annoyed with Invisalign than you already probably are. I also found that there are some things you can eat with your Invisalign in. Your dentist is probably gonna tell you not to do this, keep that in mind. But some things I found I could eat with them in are of course drinking things, eat sunflower seeds, and chew gum. I did both of these. Didn't have too many problems. In fact, one time I believe I ate goldfish with them in. Definitely don't recommend that. But sunflower seeds, I could pretty easily eat those. Gum, I could chew it. If you figured out how to chew it right in your mouth without getting it under your Invisalign, it's definitely possible. A few times it would get stuck under my Invisalign and just cause a disaster within my Invisalign. I'd have to take it out and have to pick the pieces of gum out. So be careful about chewing gum. Make sure the gum you choose isn't really sticky. It kind of just depends on whether you want your Invisalign to be really dirty and you want to risk the chance of it getting scraped up or broken in your mouth. None of this happened with mine, but it's definitely a possibility. Sometimes you might even want to take them out if you're going to eat some kind of shake or smoothie or tea or coffee, because all this is going to lead to it staining. And yes, some stains will come out. I believe I had Sonic drinks one time and it stained it all red, and that really came out within 24 hours, so that wasn't too bad. The worst stain I've ever had was again from those goldfish. So goldfish are a definite no-no. But other than that, you can experiment with what you find works best, what you can eat without causing problems in your mouth. So really those are just my recommendations. Once you start Invisalign, you definitely don't want to go back. You definitely want to make sure you follow the process. Make sure Invisalign's in all the time, because you don't want to have yourself going back in time and having to reuse trays that you've already used. Because to me, the smell is just disgusting, and I don't think you're gonna enjoy putting that smell back into your mouth. And then finally, my advice, make sure you stay on schedule. You don't wanna go back in time with these. You don't wanna prolong your time on Invisalign. It's definitely not the most convenient thing to have, and it's definitely not something you probably wanna have your whole life. So once you get on the process, stick to the process, stay on schedule, get your teeth straight, and then get out. And they're definitely, for sure, better than braces. I hope this video helps with your experience with Invisalign, whether you're on it now or if you're just about to start. These are some things you can look out for coming from someone who's done it before. As I said before, I've finished my whole process. I'm about to get my retainers that I only have to wear at night. This is kind of what to expect from someone who's had it before, some things you wouldn't know unless you've had it, but the results are gonna be worth it. So definitely hang in there. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Peace.